bad right now, there is almost no criticism of the Democratic Party writ large that I will accept. None of the broad narratives, because all of those criticisms are directly refuted when you look at what Trump is doing right now. There is no reason, if you care about any of the common talking points, unless you really do just hate trans people and you really do just hate brown people and you really do just hate immigrants, there is no reason to align with Trump. That is the only, unless you seriously think that trans people and immigrants are going to destroy the country and that is your only thing, he doesn't align with your principles or your policies whatsoever. Couldn't the Democratic Party release those documents too? Yeah, but that's the thing, King Trump for life. You weren't here at the beginning when I went over all of this, but I don't think that there's anything in the documents, bro. I don't think that they have enough evidence to convict any individual person. But the Republicans and Donald Trump's MAGA base and his people that he put into office, the people that he put into his administration, built their entire political career off of this Epstein case. Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, these people built their entire lives, their entire wealth, their entire personas around getting to the bottom of the Epstein files. And now they're in charge, and they're the dog that caught the bus. And they don't know what to do now because they've looked at the Epstein files and they realize that there's nothing that they can release. Not brown people? Well, then there's no reason that you should vote for Trump because he just increased our debt by $4 or $6 trillion. He increased spending and cut taxes. What happens when you increase your spending and you earn less money? You go into deeper debt. You are the reason why the country is going to go into debt because they didn't plan like every other president or Congress in the past. They have sat down. They're like, okay, well, if we do this, will it increase our interest rate to the point where we're not able to pay back the interest on our loans? If not, if it's going to do that, then we can't do this, right? Because there were actual smart people in our government before, but now they've gone through and they said, I don't give a about any of the data. We got to kick out all the Browns. We got to kick out all the Mexicans. We got to increase the ICE budget to 3 times more than the budget of the Marine Corps. All right. And we're going to cut taxes on the billionaires. We're going to give a $1 per day tax break to the lowest quintile of wealth. My quintile of wealth, my tax break is equal to approximately $1 per day. And that expires when Trump leaves office. Congratulations. You've saved the working class. See, how many million people lost their health insurance so that President could kick out more Browns? How many people lost their health insurance? How many children lost their health insurance so that President could go through and totally bury the Epstein case? How many children lost their health insurance because people said, hey, we are spending so much money on Ukraine and Israel. We should be spending that money here. And then instead we put ourselves into deeper debt while throwing our own people off of Medicaid. You people have no souls. You people have no gorm. You are gormless. You have no principles. You have no soul. It's unreal. And there's a million conversations to be had about what the tax rate should be, about who should be taxed what. Conservatives have made good tax plans in my lifetime. Didn't you say there was no evidence in the Epstein case? I said there was probably not enough evidence to indict or convict any individual person. There's probably evidence of individuals in there, but like if you can't secure a conviction, then you can't release those files, right? Because you're harming the victims, you're harming the case, you're harming future possible investigations. There are 1,000,001 reasons I can see there are legitimate reasons to not release the Epstein files. Epstein killed himself. We can't get that conviction. They did secure the conviction of Ghislaine Maxwell. So yeah, but yeah, exactly. So the problem isn't that I think that they're trying to hide something about the Epstein case. It's the fact that you should be furious that they have tricked you for 10 years almost, that this is something that the Democrats have been hiding from you, that the deep state is hiding this, and that Trump is going to reveal it. When there's nothing there. That's what I've thought the entire time. And I've said this. You can probably find clips throughout any of my streams where I've said this at one point or another. I don't think that there's anything there. But they've made themselves look like, and that's on them. And it's on all of the voters who said that we just don't want there to be rings in the or we don't like the fact that the Democrats lie to us, even though like the lies are just things that they disagree with. Or a framing that they don't agree with. What happened to Republicans protecting children? Oh, they do protect children. They want to get rid of abortion so that there are more children to rape. Because, when there's less abortion, there's more children in the system. And when there's more, traumatized children in the system, it's way easier to find marks to groom. Pedocon theory doesn't lie. Increase what? It's supply and demand, folks. They want to get rid of abortion so that there are more children because they are getting tired of raping the same ones over and over and over. Sorry. Anyways.
What I would say is,
when I repeat this, so
dropping...
I don't say...
With clips like what? What did I say? Sorry, I'm actually speaking and not thinking at all. I only had to stop myself from saying one slur so far, so.
Retard. Well, it's not just don't say it wrong. It's understand my position.
I believe there is stuff there, but Trump and his group wants to blackmail people now. Then why are they making themselves look like King Trump? If there was stuff there to blackmail people, why weren't the Democrats blackmailing people with it? Why weren't the Democrats blackmailing Trump with it? The stuff that was just released in the Wall Street Journal, that is stuff that the government had access to. I think that the government has that drawing of the girl that Trump made with a weird type, little dialogue between him and Epstein in it that Trump made. I'm pretty sure the government is in possession of that. Why didn't the Democrats? Because the Democrats aren't what you guys think they are. The perception, the Soviet mind raping that you guys have the brain of the raped. You guys, okay, what did I say? Pedocon theory doesn't lie. Increase what? It's supply and demand, folks.
Oh, I guess that is.
They want to get rid of.
Yeah, it wasn't real. Sorry. Okay.
That's what I'm asking you to do.
You say political effectiveness. This joke itself was offensive. What about it was not politically?
Yeah, I disavow.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
And that's including, I had that on my laptop. That article where he was saying, like, when she was 13, talking about her voluptuous body. Like, Jesus Christ, dude.
Oh, it's so weird. Stop. You know what? What's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Oh, wait, these are multiple clips? I thought that he only had one clip like that.
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
That was so gross. It dehydrated me. I'm going to grab a sip of water. 1 second. Give me 1 second. I also realized that it's like a full 10 degrees hotter in this room for some reason. Oh, shit. Wait, you say here for the chill sesh. What's the name of this stream? Did I name this stream Chill Sesh? That's funny. Okay, 1 second. I gotta fix the temperature in here. 1 second. All right. Me. If you can, where'd I put my headphones, dude? Am I losing my mind, dude? What the hell? All right. Look at the clip I sent too. Listen, if you guys, whoa, send me clips as MP4s, and I will
Post.
Meanwhile, the Republicans are going, I'm about to steal the House. Like, that's what the Republicans do. And meanwhile, we're sitting here saying, should Gavin Newsom really be saying that we're going to redistrict some of California because Texas is going to do that? Yes! Of course, that's what we should be doing.
God. Jesus Christ. God damn. What the
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah. Classic. If you guys send me MP4s, I'll post them on Twitter. Listen, something I need to do is I need to rebuild the community. I've pushed a lot of people away with my doomerism, and I've been really not entertaining. But I want to rebuild the community. All right. Join the Discord. Type in there sometimes. All right. The more people that type in there, the more likely I'm to type in there. All right. I want my Discord. Okay. I want my Discord to be a place where like I can talk about normal shit sometimes. All right. That's all I want. And I want you guys to talk about y'all's normal shit sometimes. Okay. We've calmed down a little bit, right? Wait, did I click on this one too?
Whoa, whoa.
Yeah, I did. Okay. We've clicked all the links. No one's going to ask me to click on it anymore.
If Ivanka were
Oh yeah, got rid of that. Jesus. Like talking about grok and anime. I'm sorry to use AI, but
effective, and then I will use that language every time I reference it. I'm not trying to strawman you. I'm literally just trying to repeat what you said. Sorry.
I'll tell you, talking about prepubescent kids jerking off, that's probably the least politically effective aspect of the joke.
Wouldn't it be schlicking in this case because they're mostly girls?
Jesus
to be
Christ. What the How did that happen? Embrace the edge? I mean, I don't... Listen, my streaming career is not going to pick up anytime soon, okay? Like, I'm not looking to be a famous streamer. I want to have online friends and shit. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, I don't have 2 lives on YouTube right now, right? Okay, we're good. There are very few people who can get away with making pedo jokes. Destiny isn't one of those people. That's something, listen, I had an issue with some new friends that we have here since we moved to DC, and their line for what is a acceptable edgy joke and what isn't is beyond me. I don't understand it because they'll make pedo jokes and anime lolicon jokes and shit like that, but God damn it, if you say they will call you out in the middle of a chill hangout and they will make it weird. Like I don't get where anyone makes their the line at where they draw, because I don't make pedo jokes. I think I'm funny. I know I'm funny.
I think Blue Rose openly, actually, David Shore talked to me about this, and I asked him why he didn't include like wokeness as a reason why people voted. And he was like, well, our list of 40 things was just kind of arbitrary fundamentally. And he agreed probably it actually should have been included. It would have been interested to know. So I don't have this data to give you, or people like, well, man, Destiny was really mean this one day to me, so that's why I voted for Trump, right? Mm-hmm. What I do have is psychological theory, right, about how people work. And what we're talking about here when we're talking about changing minds is we're talking about changing fundamentals or deep things to people's worldviews. And these are really, really hard things to change.
No. What the No, we're not. No, we're not appealing to MAGA. We're not appealing to the conspiracy theorists. We're not appealing to people who need their entire worldview shifted in order to vote for the Democrats. We're appealing to the people who voted for him because inflation was too high. Because we're not going to get the people. We're not. I don't know how to explain. Maybe it's the cucked Canadian mind, because Dev is like this too. Actually, you know what? Dev might not be like this. I'd have to ask him. But like, what the is it with people thinking that we're going to get MAGA to vote for the Democrats? That we have to appeal to anyone who is a hardcore MAGA person
Anyone who has to have their fundamental worldview shifted to vote for the Democrats is not someone that we need to be worried about appealing to. This line of thinking would still have gay marriage illegal? True. This is stupid. It's I waffle between this in my heart of hearts. But like, there's some people that just like don't need to vote. Their opinion does not. There are some people that I think should be disenfranchised. And I don't think that I would ever do anything for that, but I think that they should be, you know, because there are some people that do just hold us back. There are some people that just allow for horrible shit to continue to happen or to regress to horrible shit. And right now, the grievance politics of the Rust Belt, the grievance politics, the down bad, sad boy, I'm useless, I can't get anything, I can't do anything, everyone is bad to me from the conservatives right now. Wait, hold on. King Trump for life. No. Your point would stand, and I would agree with you if it was achieved through policy. It wasn't achieved through policy. Gay marriage came from the Supreme Court. The states had to be forced. Republicans had to be forced constitutionally to allow for that to happen. Now, when it comes to the gay, LGBT movement, like the, rainbow flag, up through probably 2012, maybe. Like, I understand what you're saying there, but what you're mixing up two concepts here. The policy was being held back by backwards ass people, a minority of people, but a minority of people with a outsized amount of influence. It was only after it was forced and everyone saw that, marriage didn't go away and, they didn't allow for the marriage of goats and dogs and shit. All the horrible, dehumanizing straw mans that conservatives said about gay marriage didn't happen. Slowly but surely, less people cared about gay marriage. But it wasn't until, and that's the same thing that happened with the civil rights movement, mind you. It was an unpopular bill to desegregate everything. Lyndon Johnson bullied the out of everyone in Congress and in the Senate until he got it through, but people were not happy about it. But once they were forced to interact with black people on a daily basis as equals, people realized that they weren't actually low IQ, horrible, I can't say that one, but they realized that, black people aren't actually just criminals that want to rape me. Black people are actually human beings that I can be coworkers with and, get a beer with and, have a decent, coexistence with. It's almost as if they're just human beings with more melanin in their skin. I believe enough people liked gay marriage enough that politicians had to accept it. No, because I was alive for that. I was in high school for it. I was in that conversation at the time. And the conservatives that I was around, and I was in Texas, mind you, all right? So I was around a lot of conservatives. The conservatives there, they had they can have their civil unions, okay? But don't touch my marriage, okay? I don't want to see the gay people, but I don't think that they should be executed type beat, all right? I would argue with my high school girlfriend's mom. Well, I wouldn't argue. I would ask her Socratic method style questions because I was too much of a beta to argue with someone, let alone my girlfriend's mom, mind you. But I had these conversations, arguments, discussions with conservatives at that time. They did not like gay people. They did not like the idea of gay people getting married. They did not like the idea of there being civil rights protections for gay people. It had to be forced on them. And I don't think that we should force everything on people just because. I think that I don't see any notifications on any of my 3 monitors. That's the second time that's happened this stream. I'd like to know what's yelling at me. Did y'all see any notifications that I just missed? Because I don't want the computer to like restart in the middle of the stream. I believe it was 75% supported before Obama said he was in favor. Wait, before Obama. I think I understand what you're saying. I don't know the stats off the top of my head, but if you want to tell me that it was a popular, overwhelmingly, that the Republicans were in favor, that they, like, I'm sorry, you're wrong. You're wrong. The Republicans were dragged, kicking and streaming into the 21st century where we weren't accepting gay bashing anymore. Acceptance, but not allowing for civil rights protections. Arguing vociferously, a vocab word that we heard earlier in stream, arguing vociferously against any kind of civil rights protections for gays. %40 didn't want gay marriage. You're saying like that's an insignificant number. It's like people's opinions on trans people right now. Like, I'm fine with trans people. I just don't want to see them or let them go into bathrooms or have protections from being fired in their job for being trans or yada, yada, yada. It's like they want to like not seem hateful, but then they also don't want there to be any way, shape, or form of any kind of legal protections against discrimination against these groups or any kind of, protections from hateful shit. And then they want us to believe that they're not hateful as a group. You know what I will say, based off of the couple of times that King Trump has been in chat, I talk with a broad brush. This guy does not seem like a hateful piece of shit. He actually seems like a reasonable, normal person. So I don't want it to come off like I'm directly attacking you, all right? Because you do seem relatively reasonable. I'm going to yell at you sometimes because your name is King Trump and you say shit that I disagree with, and I'm triggered perpetually. But, like, as a class, Republicans are not chill with gay people. They're not chill with trans people. They're not chill with immigrants. And I'm tired of having to make all these little carve-outs, right? Like, all these little carve-outs for individual conservatives, or like, some conservatives don't believe that, or this one, or that. It's like, man, holy shit, right now they're raping my country actively right now. They have very possibly ruined my career dreams. They have possibly ruined my girlfriend's career dreams. 1 second. Speaking of my girlfriend, she's calling me right now. 1 second. I picked up my camera so that I could stand up and like do some cleaning around here, but honestly, I don't think it's gonna happen. I set a move streak yesterday. How much more do I got to do? Oh, I'll do that later. Yeah. Anyways. My number may be a bit off. Yeah, and I'm also, like, I don't have, like, a number at all. Like, I'm going off of my memory from when I was in high school, right? But do they hate gay people, or are they prudish and want what they perceive as normal behavior? I think that some people, I think it's too difficult in a normal conversation to be able to tell. Because their responses are going to be the same, right? So, like, in that regard, like, it kind of sucks for the people that are just prudish, but, like, dude, maybe don't have as part of your alignment, people in your movement that are just hateful, evil people. And it's kind of like when people used to ascribe to me the, like, defund the police thing. Here, I am just going to move the camera back down like this. But what was I responding to? Shit. Oh, but like, yeah, like when I was a lefty and people would accuse me of like the defund the police bullshit, like it would be irritating, but also I totally understood it because it's not, I'm part of a movement that was permissive. We were permissive of that shit. So we get to deal with the repercussions. But you guys want to act like there's no repercussions to having friends or having family or allowing people to coalition with you that are horrible people. You know? It's like you would never want to hang around someone who hangs around a bunch of meth heads, right? Because that's a bad idea. You would get associated with them. You wouldn't want to associate with someone like Jeffrey Epstein because then, you know, after, like, if he ever gets caught being a then everyone might look at you sideways because you were hanging out with the right? Like, I understand guilt by association, but for some reason, only the Democrats get to deal with guilt by association. But if I point out the fact that there is a large segment of the Republican Party that's incredibly racist towards immigrants, like right now, they have made that a cornerstone of the party to hate immigrants, not want the less immigration. It is the popular opinion to despise immigration. They do not like immigrants. They have made it a cornerstone to hate so many people, but then they also don't want people to look at them as hateful people. They get so offended, and I can't imagine cucking myself and saying, you know what, I am being too mean to the people that are building Alligator Alcatraz, you know, arresting random non-violent people who haven't committed any crimes except for making mistakes on their visas, by and large, is hitting them to Alligator Alcatraz and then to South Sudan. If people don't want to hang around me because of that, so be it. Dude, well, you understand why, right? If you hung out with and people started to look at you sideways, or if you hung out with a bunch of heroin addicts and people thought that maybe that was affecting your personality or the way that you behaved, or they started associating you with their behavior, right? Like, you are who you hang out with. This is like something that our parents have told us forever. And that applies in your regular life just as it matters in your professional life, just as it matters in your political life. If you hang out with bad people, people are going to assume that you are a bad person too. I would never hang out with a pedo. Okay, like listen, don't disagree with me and then say that you understand what I'm saying. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to autistically continue to explain it until you understand it, or I get too frustrated because I work in the HHS. No, but you guys know what I mean. Wait. Prisoner swap frees Americans in Venezuela for migrants held in El Salvador. Americans and U.S. residents who had been seized by the Venezuelan authorities and held as bargaining chips were released in exchange for more than 200 Venezuelan migrants whom the Trump administration sent to a prison in El Salvador. What was all that hubbub? What was all that cope from conservatives that said that they literally couldn't get Kilmar Abrego Garcia back because they couldn't kidnap him from that country and bring him to the United States, but they can negotiate the release of criminals from Venezuela to get sent back to Venezuela in exchange for Americans to be sent to America? You couldn't get the guy that had a protective order to never be sent to El Salvador to get shipped back to America, but you can get 200 Venezuelans shipped back to Venezuela in exchange for Americans? So it's almost like you lied, but your people will still continue to vote for you. This is why I hate conservatives, because they will see headlines like that and not see the contradiction and the shit that their guy was telling them last month. Last month. I just generally don't care about the opinions of others. I mean, I somewhat care, but not enough to change who I am. I think that there's people will make statements like that, but I don't know how far they'll go with it, because that is something that everyone should believe, right? Like, I don't care about the opinions of others unless it's going to like negatively affect, you know, like, I don't care if someone on the street who was being shitty, I say something to them and they're like pissed off and they yell at me, right? I don't get mad about that. But if I have to, like, an interpersonal conflict with my boss, or if I hear someone say something stupid at work, I'm not going to immediately just like, you know, because I don't care about the opinions of others, I'm not going to just immediately say, hey, you're wrong, right? Anyways.
Change.
We're never going to, I don't think we're even going to get to the point where, actually, hold on, we're in the 37 minute. I think this is the minute where I get mentioned. So we are going to get through this. We're going to listen for a second. Okay, guys?
Well, man, Destiny was really mean this one day to me, so that's why I voted for Trump, right? What I do have is psychological theory, right, about how people work. And what we're talking about here when we're talking about changing minds is we're talking about changing fundamentals or deep things to people's worldviews.
And again, just to circle back to the 30 minutes ago that we watched that section of this clip, no, we don't need to. We absolutely never, ever, 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 ever have to appeal to the MAGA base. The MAGA base will never, ever, 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 ever vote for a Democrat, ever. They'll never do it. So why the would we ever waste money, time, energy, man hours, any amount of resources, physical or, you know, non-tangible resources to bring over people that just hate Democrats? Those people will never vote for the Democrats. We do not need to change anyone's priors. We do not need to change anyone's worldview, because if they are that far down into the Trump train, they are lost.
And these are really, really hard things to change, as anyone in psychology can tell you. And what I'm saying is that while
and then she used that example that she used against me when we're talking about social pressure and stigma from being a racist in public. And then she wants to use the psychological study saying that fat people can't be bullied out of being fat. I'm sorry. Do they just forcibly, in every Asian country, do they just forcibly liposuction all of the fat out of anyone that gets above like a, I don't know anything about BMI, gets to within 5 percentage points of being overweight? Is that what they do? No, it is extremely socially stigmatizing to be fat. They have their stores for our size of clothes for women. Their stores are called like Moo Moo Cowgirls, Big Girls Plus, Fat. If you wear like a medium as a woman, you want to tell me social pressure doesn't keep people thin? It doesn't work on an individual basis to bully someone into a different worldview or behavior or anything. But societally, yeah, you can be bullied. You can be socially pressured into a great many different actions or inactions. I agree with that. MAGA will never vote for Democrats. You need to get the guys who voted for Trump for other reasons. Yeah, and anyone like, and I'm not even fully got my undergrad in political science. All right, I'm a that spent 12 years going after his undergraduate degree because he changed his degree 7 times. Okay? I'm not smart. I probably have lead poisoning from all the vaping I did from the past, 3 years. Okay? I'm not a smart person. I know this. I'm not so that I would look at some drooling meth mouth dumbass fentanyl user in the South who thinks that Epstein was like going around and blackmailing every single politician up until the year 2023 when he was mysteriously, like going around, his ghost was going around and tricking everyone into children. Like, I'm sorry, I don't need to talk to that guy. I don't need to talk to that guy. Cletus can die a death of despair to fentanyl, and it won't make my life any different. I don't need to convince him. He was never going to vote for my guy. Vaping steel is probably... I don't know. I heard that there's like lead and nickel poisoning and shit like that. But the problem for me was that I'm a little bit worried about it because I think that honestly, and not to make people worried about me, but like I've been having like severe short-term memory issues, and it's more likely than not to do with the depression, but I'm attributing it to the nickel poisoning because I think that's funnier. So
jokes can be useful because it code switches to young people.
Well, hold on. Asian countries have an unhealthy way of dealing with body image. You could say it's unhealthy. You could say it's unhealthy, but it's not impossible. Drugs are bad. Listen, this was nicotine, okay? I got addicted to what do you call them? The Juuls, because I was blowing clouds as a joke because Vape Nate was a big meme, and I accidentally got myself addicted to nicotine for 3 years.
That you're chill, that you don't give a about the PC shit, and you can make a joke and roll with it. The problem is that when you're smug, condescending, and nasty all the time, what it does is it doesn't code switch to anyone. Typically, people don't like condescension at all.
DM that to me because I will not remember. Limited evidence, but it might help with cognitive function. Again, I literally think that I've just been like, I'm pretty animated on stream, but like I've been probably the like lowest I've ever been in my entire life. So like I legitimately think that the depression's getting to me in that like I've been having like night terrors and difficulty eating and shit like that. So it's more likely that like I'll be fine. Like I say it so that I know that there are people out there that know, but I also don't want people to worry about it, you know? Because the reason I'm probably way more aggressive and angry than normal is because I'm depressed. I do know that, you know? So just say it. I put it out there as a bit of understanding. You know, because I've been saying even by my standards, some pretty crazy shit on stream. Okay, I've been very aggressive for a very long time, and it's perfectly coinciding with the depression. So, like I see myself say shit. I'm like, God damn, what the is that?
In fact, that's why I think on your
you can be as much of a dick as you want, dude.
People were more mad at you than Sondsol, who was saying put Republicans.
Oh, there I am. Wait, what the did I say? Sorry. I've been told that when I say it sounds more misogynistic than I intend for it to come off as. Again, I want to preface whatever she says here. This is what I said. Did I lose the... Hold on, we can just look up alligator. And we can find that clip. Okay, this was what my statement was, I think. Well, hold on. Okay, that's not me. Okay, right here. Let's see what I said.
Take your eye off the ball. Like you must rip MAGA out of your country.
We have so much more power now. If the Democrats get into the presidency, there is so much power that they have at their disposal right now. I wholeheartedly agree.
I hate now that. Now you can you Wick. You cucked loser. Love you, Wick. You cucked loser. Oh no, we're going to unilaterally disarm. Meanwhile, let's look at the effects of democratic unilateral disarmament. Okay, let's look at the effects of that, because right now they're about to redistrict 5 Democratic seats away from the Democrats in Texas and give them to the Republicans. Why are they able to do that? Because the last time the Democrats took the state legislature in Texas, they cucked themselves. And they made it more fair for the Republicans. And then the Republicans took power and they made it impossible for a Democrat to win office in their state legislature. And then they changed the rules on redistricting so that they can do it on a whim. Compare that to California, whose state legislature has graciously allowed the Republicans 6 seats when they don't have to. It could be a 50-seat straight California straight Democrat ticket. They could do it. It wouldn't be illegal. But they've written into their law that they have to go through multiple processes over several years in order to consider the fact and give it to this committee here to make sure that we're being fair. The unilateral disarmament. And it's the same thing in Pennsylvania. Have you ever seen Pennsylvania congressional districts? Oh, wait, hold on. Did this change recently? What state was I thinking of? Where they had the most... Is it Ohio? No, it's not Ohio. One of these states has just like diagonal stripes across it because their Democratic legislature decided to give an equal amount of land mass per district. And then they didn't want it to be gerrymandered based off of location and like what groups of people might have the same interests, like, you know, every other state. They said, you know, we're just going to go diagonals, split it across the entire state. There is no gerrymandering here, and we're also going to make it impossible to redistrict easily. So now the Republicans, who have no morals, no checks and balances on anything, can go into their state legislatures and they can unilaterally just change it so that they get more votes in the upcoming election because they're going to get raped at the ballot box and they know it. So they're trying to mitigate that by gaming the system. And everybody knows that if the Democrats did something similar, it would be civil war. But for some reason, Wick is saying, oh, I hate the fact that we're going to use the exact same levers of power that the Republicans used. I had no idea it was a thing to that extreme of a degree. The Republican Party has been building this takeover of our government for decades. They just didn't know it. The Democrats, did you guys know that Arkansas used to always have a Democratic legislature? But then they made it more fair and the Republicans took over, and then they made it impossible for a Democrat to ever win again? That's what happens when the Republicans get in power. That is what happens when Republicans get in power. And when Democrats get in power, we are so concerned about everyone being fair and everyone being nice and everyone being, don't take too much. We have to listen to the people in the rural city. Them. I don't like the Democrats that will ever say that we're not going to unilaterally, redistrict our shit in response to the Republicans. If there's not a Democrat that wants to do that immediately, if you have qualms about doing that, get a rope. And if you don't have the courage to do that and die with honor, then leave the Democratic Party. Go vote with the Republicans because you obviously they don't want to win. Obviously, they don't want to win. Don't go to the Republicans. Go to the Green Party. You. You don't want to win. You don't want to win. If you don't want to use the same legal processes as the enemy who is taking legal processes away from you to have power. It's suicidal. It's made. It is dying with false honor. Because you don't accomplish anything with that death.
so much power that they have at their disposal.
So sorry, we're going to listen to what I said, okay? And then we're going to listen to what Erudite's summary of what I said was. And we'll see if it's similar. Y'all ready for this? I'm ready for this.
Like you must rip MAGA out of your country.
We
root
have
and
so
stem.
much more power now. If the Democrats get into the presidency, there is so much power that they have at their disposal right now. I wholeheartedly
hate
agree.
this. I hate
now
that.
You can say that you hate this, but I think that the Democrats in 28 should run on a platform of cutting the executive's power in good faith. But first, we should pack the court because this shit's crazy. We should absolutely
this guy's so based.
Annihilate all of MAGA's possibility of ever gaining power ever again. We should throw all the people who are involved in all of the money money grubbing weird bullshit that they're doing with the taxes, buying off and selling at certain points. All the people involved in ICE straight to alligator Alcatraz. After we put them there and
Christ. This is what
then we can.
I'm sorry. It's still it fills me with white hot rage that these people, and I love the people on this panel. All right, I don't have anything against anyone on this panel specifically. All right, I like Stardust. I like Wick. I like Soy Pill. I like Dev. I barely know Tally, so sorry, but like, why is it that the existence of alligator Alcatraz is less offensive than saying the people that built the concentration camp can spend some time in the concentration camp once we're in charge? Almost every politician does inside trading. Well, you know what? You'd have to prove that. You know what? There have been people that have tried to prove that. They haven't been able to prove it. There have been people who have been caught and then they have been prosecuted for it. So I think that generally speaking, if you do insider trading and you get caught, then you're going to go to jail. If you're corrupt and you get caught, you're going to go to jail. Just look at I said Bob Menendez, taking gold bars from Egypt. Corruption. Right there, that accepting bribes, that's corruption. You get to go to jail. If you do insider trading, you get to go to jail. And you know what? Anyone could call for an investigation. Anyways.
We
can pass a couple of constitutional amendments.
Concentration camps are bad unless we use them on Republicans. That's more leftists.
Actually, no. Concentration camps were bad until they were made part of the conversation. And now, if you're going to throw our people in concentration camps, your people are going in concentration camps.
let's read some.
Okay, just to be clear, I'm not that left.
Why? What is this? What is this soy? Why is everyone freaking out about this? I'm sorry. I am a center left Democrat, okay? I am not a leftist. I am not a extremist. And for some reason, saying that the people that built concentration camps should be the ones sent into them is egregious? Can someone explain it to me? Like, actually, I might be out of touch because every single person on this panel is like, whoa, what the the leftist soy pill is like, whoa, what the explain to me. Right now, someone make it make sense to me why every single person on this panel is anti-Trump, anti-MAGA. They think that what is going on is disgusting. But for me to say that we can just repurpose the prison that they think is so acceptable for migrants, that the people that built that and thought that it was acceptable can go into it themselves. The rhetoric of concentration camp? Oh, okay, so it's not a concentration camp. I agree with the Republicans. It's not a concentration camp. Send these to Alligator Alcatraz yesterday. You think I want to throw them in there because I think it's a concentration camp? Because I want that imagery? No, it's because they built it. It's because they think it's acceptable to throw human beings into chain link fences, open air tents with flies buzzing all around them, not enough sanitary equipment. People don't think it's a World War II camp? Oh, okay. Then we can send when we find out all the people because we can see it's not even a question that people are doing insider trading. It's just who is it, right? Well, when we do those investigations, when the Democrats get in charge, when we do all of the congressional investigations, all the Senate investigations, when we start investigating all of the people in Trump's camp, and we find the mathematical proof that they did insider trading based off of Trump's back and forth tariff deals, because they would be the only ones in the know 3 minutes before he makes it a truth out. All right? For some reason, I think that those people should be the ones that should go into alligator Alcatraz, because those are the people who are currently arguing so vociferously for its use. It's obviously an acceptable place to put human beings. So why, pray tell, is it so unacceptable for me to say, why is it so unbelievable for me to say, amongst other liberals at least, that the people who built the disgusting prison, that think that other people should be sent there and that it is acceptable conditions for human beings to be in, should be sent there when they are found liable for their financial crimes? Tell me why I'm in the wrong. I just want to know. I want to know, because I think that I'm out of touch. I do. I think that I'm in a lefty, or not a lefty echo chamber. I'm a liberal echo chamber. Because the second I look at Republicans talking about anything, like it's them being evil, like pure evil. And I would like to maintain some illusion that there are good conservatives out there. So I'm in a lefty echo chamber. Tell me, why is it bad to say that the people who are building what I would consider verging on a concentration camp, we'll see what the conditions are in 6 months to a year. Why am I bad for that, man? It doesn't make sense.
Let's read some super chat.
I'm a liberal, okay, brother?
I'm just saying. This is what like.
Just real quick. There's somewhere.
It's all team sports. When I do it, ignore it because it helps the other side. See, but like I've only at this point, this is the first time I've ever been on team sports, because if you're not on the MAGA team, you're getting raped right now. So I'm on everyone's team but MAGA. They're doing horrible, immoral, disgusting shit. And I'm on the team against that. I want to fight about policy. I want to join arm in arm with people right now who are conservative that don't like Trump. I want that, but I don't see them. They don't make themselves known. And I think that if more of them made themselves known, that their friends wouldn't ostracize them. I think that they might join in. You should talk to Jebtan. I have occasionally, but like, I don't think I can have a conversation with someone like Jebtam, because I'm not prepared for that conversation. I'm going to get unhinged. I actually liked Trump till this Epstein stuff. Do you feel that legitimate question, do you feel like this is just like another one of the lies that you didn't expect them to lie about? Or did you not think that they were lying before, but now they are? Or, because again, my hatred isn't towards Trump specifically. He's like the leader of the movement, right? But I don't like see Trump and get viscerally angry. I get viscerally angry when I see people like Stephen Miller, an evil person. I get angry when I see people like Kristi Noem, who is so enamored with the spotlight that she will sit there and do the most depraved costume changes in order to stay in the spotlight. Trump was more a brick in the window to the elites. That's interesting. Anyways, so we've heard my take now, right? I said that. Oh shit! I can't get through this segment because I keep on knocking shit over. Now there's water next to my computer. God damn it. Okay. So that was my take. Essentially, my take was that I think that the Democrats should use the levers of power that have just been introduced into the government, because if only one side uses the God powers, well, then they just become God. So I guess I'm in favor of, now that the rules have changed, playing by the new sets of rules. Okay. And I said that we should play by the new sets of rules and codify the old sets of rules such that they can never be changed. I said that the people who are breaking the law by insider trading off of the financial rape of the entire country should be sent to Alligator Alcatraz, and then anyone involved in ICE who I would consider, like, I'm sorry, a SS analog. Like, they are the United States SS. It is crazy that I have to take that lefty talking point now, but they just funded them 3 times more than the Marine Corps so that they could put more people into camps so that they could send them off to third world countries. You can't tell me that all the high school dropout white supremacist freaks that are desperate to get that job that they're about to start posting are not part of the SS. I'm fine with deportations. I'm fine with cracking down on immigration. This shit is evil, and if you think it's not evil, you have either convinced yourself that nothing is evil, or you've convinced yourself that it is a necessary evil to be a Republican. So that was what my take was. Anyone involved in ICE, anyone that did provable financial crimes. I didn't say all Republicans, but let's hear what the summary of my statement was. Let's see.
Is we're talking about changing fundamentals or deep things to people's worldviews, and these are really, really hard things to change, as anyone in psychology can tell you. And what I'm saying is that while edgy jokes can be useful because it code switches to young people that you're chill.
What the just happened? Do I have?
That while edgy jokes can be useful because it code switches to young people that you're chill, that you don't give a about the PC shit, and you can make a joke and roll with it. The problem is that when you're smug, condescending, and nasty all the time, what it does is it doesn't code switch to anyone. Typically, people don't like condescension at all. In fact, that's why I think on your panel, people were more mad at you than Sondsol, who was saying put Republicans in gulags, which is way more extreme than anything you were saying. It's because you're being.
It's good to be, you know what? I'll be the extremist. If that's what you got from that, you carpet bagging Canadian, I don't know what to tell you. How the did you get, let's throw Republicans in gulags? I'm sorry. That is insulting. Either she's stupid, she didn't listen to a goddamn word that I said, or she is just mental mapped. She can't imagine criticizing conservatives. So she has decided that saying people who commit financial crimes and people who are part of secret police operations that are kidnapping American citizens and send them to foreign countries should go to jail. Sorry, I believe in justice. Give me 1 second. My girlfriend just got here. I'm going to go say hello. 1 second. Everyone in chat, start going crazy and entertain yourselves for like 3 minutes, all right? Just another day of Sondsol trying to do chores while he's streaming. I said hello to my girlfriend who just got home. Thank you very much, okay? I finished my chores hours ago. Listen, it's our house is fairly clean, all right? It's just I don't want to have to do chores on my days I get home from work, and so do it while I'm streaming. This isn't my job anymore, yeah? Also, she's condescending as what does she mean? She is condescending as she was condescending as to me in that conversation when she made the stupid point that we can't shame fat people out of being fat. When obviously I'm not talking about bullying individual Republicans into voting Democrat. How's the Yell Fest been? You know what? We actually haven't watched too much of this. I was actually doing more of the screaming than watching. So we've been watching this for probably an hour and a half, and we've gotten through 4 minutes.
Being smug the whole time.
So we finally got to the part where she named me.
That you're chill, that you don't give a f about the PC shit, and you can make a joke and roll with it. The problem is that when you're smug, condescending, and nasty all the time, what it does is it doesn't code switch to anyone. Typically, people don't like condescension at all. In fact, that's why I think on your panel, people were more mad at you than Sondsol, who was saying put Republicans in gulags, which is way more extreme than anything you were saying. It's because you're being smug the whole time. So it rubs people worse. And
it's like, again, I hate this shit. I don't know if there's anything more to say. Well, I guess we'll watch for a couple more seconds, see if they say anything else, because I don't think that they do. But the idea that I said that we should throw all Republicans, or we should just throw Republicans in gulags, it shows that she's not listening. She has an angle that she wants to argue, and she's going to come in and she's going to argue that. She's not going to listen to the actual words that you're saying. Because that's what she did when she was in the call with me. When she was in the call with me, she was just saying things. And they ended up being incorrect and stupid. They ended up being a bad example of what we're talking about. Breaking, Trump has officially sued the Wall Street Journal. Oh, base. We'll talk about that next after we're done with this. We're almost done here. But yeah, I guess we'll watch for a couple more seconds. I'll give my final thoughts.
In general, shaming people for deep intrinsic beliefs doesn't...
That's what a lot of people do, to be fair. She presents herself as a cut above. She presents herself as being on par with Destiny, as being, his business partner. I go around and I do tour dates with Destiny. I like to debate people. She has the open debates. All right. She presents herself as an intellectual debater, a academic. So she doesn't get the excuse that I do when she does this as a job, and I do it as a hobby. She doesn't get that excuse. That's the excuse that people would give to conservative influencers, because they get their talking points directly from the Trump administration. They get their little marching orders, and then they march on out and they tweet exactly the exact same thing as their little buddies that got an email from, whoever's Stevens, whatever. She doesn't get to hide behind, oh, well, this is what everyone else is saying.
Cause people to change. In fact, there's a dearth of data that there's a large amount of data that shows it causes people typically to become defensive and move more towards
individually. Nothing will ever be as bad as the shovel. I'll say this: the firefighter stuff I didn't think was really all that bad. This stuff right here, this is pretty edgy humor. Okay, it's pretty beyond anything that. Because I probably made some jokes about the firefighter. Like, before I even saw Destiny making jokes about the firefighter, I was probably making some of those jokes too, okay? Because why would God save Trump and kill, why would God save the and kill the firefighter, But, oh, I want to watch that, Testy. We'll watch that next. Please. No sacred cows and all that. I'm not gonna sit here and shit on Destiny for the joke. I think it's in extremely bad taste, personally, right? But I recognize I've gotten more soy in the past year, so take that as you will. I personally didn't like that joke, but I don't know if there is a joke that a Democrat, a liberal, someone who in good faith actually doesn't, want people to die and doesn't revel in the suffering of other human beings like the Republican Party does. I just can't be to criticize them on their language. Oh, yeah, you won't be in the frame. Wait, hold on. They grabbed the whole chair? Oh, yeah, the chair's in frame.
No, I just need my shoesies.
Oh, yeah, you're fine. All right. Love you. If someone can get me the link to at least the part where Rob crashed out, I just want that part.
The original position.
Okay, so my position is not we should be shaming people in mass to change their votes. So I mean,
After
if you
you're
wanna
done, we're
engage
going to
with
give
my
it to
position. We can do
counterpoints.
that too.
Yeah. Okay, counterpoints.
Yeah, also, who's talking about shaming people into voting Democrat? Hold on, hold on. Soy Pill was so much better than me right there. I fell for her framing of this hook, line, and sinker. We're not talking about shaming people. They should feel ashamed, mind you. Okay, these people should feel ashamed. What more is there to say? Jesus Christ. But I'm not saying we should individually shame people or just say, oh, you guys, wag my finger. We need to have a positive message. It's all I'm saying. We need to provide something. We need to show that we're willing to fight so that people believe that we'll do something once we're in office. Because that's what people want. They want parties that act. And the Democrats haven't been a party of action. They've been a party of results, mind you. But their demeanor, the way that they do things, the way that they act, it's not dynamic. It's not exciting. It's not wherever we are now in American politics. That's where we were a long time ago. And the Republicans changed, and the Democrats haven't. And it's time for us to change. I don't know if there's much of anything else to say, except for I honestly, I might reach out to Erudite because this framing pisses me the off. I'm a nobody streamer, okay? I'm a nobody streamer. She came on to fight the nobody streamer. She used a horrible example of individually shaming fat people doesn't change them from being fat. When I'm talking about, I don't think that we should criticize liberals for being a little bit too mean sometimes. So do it. Here's I'll open the kimono for you guys. All right. I have been so out of the debate mindset and anything. I am not practiced in debate. I will probably look like a because I'm not as fast on my feet anymore with it. Debate is a practice thing, and I don't get to debate anymore. So, that's the only thing holding me back. I would have to feel pretty confident that I won't immediately look like a, but the thing with the flood thing, it was clearly a meta joke about how Republicans react to tragedies involving gay people, which I think is fine to make a meta joke about. The joke isn't the children dying. The joke is how horrible Republicans are. Maybe it's too complicated for the average person to see it, but that's more of an optics thing than a morality thing. I mean, yeah, I don't care, but I understand the joke. I don't think that we should be making those kinds of jokes about dead little girls, personally, because I'm a little soy now, all right? I know I'm a little soy. But I'm not into... you know what? I jacked off with my microphone earlier this stream. Saying that we should... Maybe I just have a whack sense of morality. Or maybe I just have a inconsistent... I don't like the joke, okay? I personally just didn't like the joke. You. Okay, but I agree with you. It's an optics thing and not a morality thing, and I don't even think it ought to be an optics thing. It's just because nobody cares what Destiny says. I was 30 seconds behind. Oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
Please.
So I don't want to be exclusively in political commentary for the next 20 years. Okay. And I'm sorry, I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera while I talk just because my toddler is refusing to leave the room. So anyways, the point being that
Gibbs doesn't have it published. I wonder why.
Probably covered this for 12 hours over the past week, so there's so much to say. I'm going to try to limit this.
Jesus
I think
Christ. Actually, never mind. What the Tyler's audio is dog shit. I don't like him in the first place, but like I thought that he was smart enough to put a noise gate or something. What was that? I'm just gonna see. Does Rob still stream to YouTube? Oh, why am I typing YouTube into YouTube? Rob Noir. Live. Oh yeah, we got it right here. Oh, let me find out his VOD. Yeah, it's just that
the people so far that have talked have done a good job
that
of
low
showing why there is
bassy hum is just too much. Anyways, as a wrap up to this right here, Erudite fundamentally does not seem to understand the point. She strawmanned the out of what I said, implied that I was an extremist, and I take exception to that. And I normally, you know what? It's been a very long time since I've been irritated enough to reach out to someone for something that they've said about me on stream, but like it's actually so cucked how condescending she was to me on the Wick panel while saying a stupid point and then implying that I'm an extremist. I'm sorry that I am going to reach out because of that. I've just convinced myself.
I'm a white supremacist, okay? And I believe that all those N-words should be shipped back to Africa, and I hate them all.
Instead of ad-libbing the joke, yeah. I mean, again, hindsight's 2020. All right. Sorry for lack of an outro, Tron, but that's what you're getting. Okay, that's what you're getting. What else is going on today? I know that we're about to talk about the Rob stuff, but how is chat doing? You could literally just point. Yeah, I agree. Got it. All right, let's watch this.
covered this for fucking.
But really quick, let's hear how is everyone in chat doing? Just don't do your outros like Xander Hall. What is his outro like? One final cough before dying of AIDS? What? One final cough, blood spatters his hands, and he is at the end of every video. I was off of work and then it's a weekend. Oh, dude, I was so lucky not to have work today. Jesus Christ.
In 12 hours over the past week, so there's so much to say. I'm going to try to limit this. I think that the people so far that have talked have done a good.
Who is this in the bottom? About to go have some Italians? Singular Italian, gotcha.
Good job of showing why there is a there.
Also, like, just so I don't know anything. I heard about this 3 minutes before we started watching it. Okay, I don't know what's going to be said here. I haven't been told about anything except for he crashes out. Rob is like the smartest conspiracy theorist I have ever encountered in my entire life. He has built his entire worldview around these things, and he's very smart. I do agree that he's very smart. I also think that he is a very, very good debater. I think that he mind himself into being this on politics. I think that he has. I think that he was so irritated by the left that he has allowed himself to become one of the raped, one of the mind raped, who have allowed their political lives to be subsumed by defending Trump. And they'll think that they're not, like, they'll make overtures like, I don't agree with everything that he says, or blah, blah. But it seems like their entire mythos of political advocacy is built around everything that has happened to Trump. Everything, and all of their actions and all of their arguments line up with that. But now, when he has shattered the illusion, this illusory reality that they have built up around him, he has shattered that for them. He has done something to them, and that is build up a reality and shatter it in front of their eyes. And so they have one of two options. They can either return to reality and start hating Trump, or they can think that he is now just part of the upness, and he is part of the conspiracy. I reckon because Rob is so hard-headed that he will never accept that he has ever been wrong or that he has been duped. He's probably just going to assume that all politicians are, and hopefully he'll be so demoralized he stops talking about politics altogether. Like, that's all I can hope for. Because I used to think Rob was a good person. That's one of the reasons why I've been so upset, because some of the conservatives that I thought were good people, at least behind the scenes, they were a little bit, putting on a show of being angry on this, or, being hardcore, whatever. A little softer behind the scenes, a little bit more human behind the scenes. But then this administration happens and they just turn into the most disgusting neo-Nazi adjacent freaks. The kinds of people that would watch the Jews get marched out of their houses by the SS and say, well, I didn't vote for that, but they got to get rid of, they're attacking, it's the Volk versus the international Jewry. He would be one of those people. And I think that he would probably want to be one of the people that was so minded by their bad decisions in who they supported that they will carry on thinking that they were right their entire life. That's how I think Rob will, he was born into this world a good person. He changed somewhere along the Trump, political life cycle. And then once Trump dies and the Trump political life cycle ends, when the landscape changes, Rob will still be sitting there thinking the entire world is a conspiracy. China created Wuhan lab leak. The 2020 election was stolen. Every conspiracy except for, Trump will release the Epstein files. That was the one thing he will admit that he was wrong on, because Trump is a too. Rob isn't a bad person. He's just this is something I said earlier. I'm just tired of making the distinction for these kinds of people. I'll make more caveats for people that aren't, commentators and shit like that. But Rob acts like a bad person online. I used to, behind the scenes, Andrew Wilson did some stuff for some trans people, some selfless, good person shit for trans people behind the scenes that he would never want to come out. That made me change my opinion on him. These people used to be good people behind the scenes, but the way that they act in public, this is the way they want to project themselves out. Then I'm going to treat them the way that they want to be perceived. The way they are projecting themselves is how I will return. Andrew Wilson is hilarious. So it's all I need to know about him. I mean, I think that he's funny. I think that he's, at least there's more entertainment value to watching him than Rob Noir. Rob Noir is a sad version of Andrew Wilson. A less charismatic, less funny, more conspiracy brained, and less ideologically, strong Andrew Wilson. He's just I hate to say that the libertarian is more cucked than the authoritarian, theocratic fascist, but Rob is just a cuckold version of Andrew Wilson. Because I don't think that Andrew Wilson is so as to think that. Actually, you know what? I think that Andrew Wilson would think that the Epstein files are real. I'm certain that Rob thinks that the Epstein files are, all the conspiracy around them are true. Well, Andrew Wilson, I'm not sure. He might just say shit because it's politically expedient. I think that he's way more, not Malthusian. What's the other guy? Machiavellian, than Rob. So, and we all kind of do, but Rob looks at documents to see how it feeds his arguments, not to be honest about it. Well, I think that we all do it to some extent, but it was people like Rob that made me feel good about going out of my echo chamber and reading stuff that didn't agree with me to make better arguments, you know? That's why I hate Rob more than and hate Andrew more than I hate like other commentators who are bigger, because it's definitely it's a one-way feeling. They probably don't think about me like this, but every time I see a conservative that talks about principles, I think about Andrew Wilson. I think about Rob Noir specifically, and how I took the things that they said that Democrats ought to do, that liberals, if they want to gain the respect of Republicans, if they want to, you know, run a country in a moral way, blah, blah, blah. Like, I took what they said to heart, and then they eschewed all of those values. It feels very personal to me that these grown ass men who were in their mid to late 30s or 40s when I started my political, okay, they were full ass grown ass, you know, had their shit together adults when I was streaming below minimum wage as my main job, okay, when I was and I didn't understand anything. All right. They are too old. They are too established in their lives to be this and then act condescending about it. Rob is and that's why he's a bad person, because he could have been a good person but he chose to be a bad person Andrew Wilson is a bad person because he knows he's a bad person, and he's, you know, he doesn't make any qualms about it. So I don't think Andrew Wilson would even deny that he's a bad person. I don't think he would find a single issue with what I've said about him this entire thing. Rob would probably be upset about everything that I said about him. Andrew Wilson would be like, yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm a theocratic fascist. Yeah, I hate women. Yeah, I want to say slurs occasionally and not get in trouble for it. Like, yeah. Anyways, let's watch Rob crash out, okay?
12 hours over the past week, so there's so much to say. I'm going to try to limit this. I think that
oh wait, hold on. I'll catch up with chat and then we'll go into it. By the way, Sourcing, how have you been doing? I've been trying to ask people that when they come in. I'm trying to build a rapport, okay? Rob gets into it with the two on the panel that still try to defend Trump on this. Oh no, who is it? Let me guess. It's Gibbs and it's this. I don't know who this is, but it's got to be him, right? It's got to be those two. Because I don't think Fabian, he's like a libertarian. He like, oh, I'm not a Trump supporter. I hate all. Walking on Sunshine? Based. Let's see here. Jebtan is also... Oh, well, I should have just read the rest of your comment. Jebtan is also against it, and Fabian is just libertarian more so. Everyone sucks, and Trump sucks for this. Yeah. Sadie at the bottom. Oh, I don't know who Sadie is. Gibbs. Oh, Gibbs isn't defending Trump? I don't care about this. Yes, you do. You're terrified to confront it. Pussy. Jesus Christ.
the people so far that have talked have done a good job of showing why there is.
Can I wait? Hold on. You know what? I'm going to wait. Like, hey Siri, set a reminder. No, set a timer for 3.5 minutes. I think if I set a timer and I ask this question in 3.5 minutes, it will seem less bad.
Is a there, particularly when it comes to connections to our U.S. intel agencies and powerful people, both in politics and outside of politics in the United States.
Sorry, I was still thinking about whether I should say it or not.
Particularly when it comes to connections to going to limit this. I think that the people so far that have talked have done a good job of showing why there is a there, particularly when it comes to connections to our U.S. intel agencies and
Gibbs runs a conservative COPE panel.
Powerful people, both in politics and outside of politics.
Sorry, Testy, if you're a libertarian, you're just conservative and you don't want to admit that you're a Republican because Republicans are. I don't know why you would ever want to change the label from to and be a libertarian, but Fabian made that choice, so.
United States around the world. But let's skip that for a second. Forget about that portion of it. There's two things that I want to focus on here so I don't take up all the time. The first thing is this. Imagine that I voted for Ron Paul and he wins presidency. And the reason I voted for him was I wanted to audit the Fed. And Ron Paul said it every day. Audit the Fed, audit the Fed, audit the Fed, right? And then Ron Paul wins and he gets in office and I'm in the press corps and I go, Mr. President, are you going to audit the Fed? And he's like, you, why are you still on about that stupid shit?
The Fed doesn't exist. Obama made it up.
Right. What Fed? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, I voted for Donald Trump for one reason, and that's because I believe there is such systemic corruption in our system through our institutions. You could think I'm a crazy conspiracy theorist. You could think that I'm a blowhard, but that's my belief. And Donald Trump was the only person who had a chance to win.
Let me hear it one more time.
I believe there is such systemic corruption in our system through our institutions. You could think I'm a crazy conspiracy.
But does he talk about any of the insider trading that is all but confirmed? We know that it's happened. We just don't know who it is because the Republicans are in charge and aren't willing to open up investigations. Who is concerned about the corruption, Rob? Is it your guy who's accepting the $400 million Qatari airplane? The Sky Palace? Is it the multi-billion-dollar deals that they made over in the Middle East while he was, supposed to be doing American business? They were making business deals for the Trump business as well over in the Middle East for some reason. That's not corruption to you? You fake freak. My alarm hasn't gone off. Am I allowed to call people fat on Twitch? Is that against TOS? Just asking for, apparently? Okay, well, we'll be careful about that then. I set the timer because I didn't want it to seem like I was talking about anyone on the panel, of course.
Theorists, you could think that I'm a blowhard, but that's my belief. And Donald Trump was the only person who had a chance to win that seemed like he could potentially be an outsider to that and possibly do something.
So, again, the underlying desire for conservatives is to destroy the country. I want you guys to understand that. They want someone to come in and fundamentally rework the system. They don't like the Constitution because the Constitution is what our system is built off of. They don't like the Constitution. They don't like our system. They want authority over everything. They are liars. They don't have any principles. If they had any principles, they would have been mad at Trump for lying to them about any of the million other things. But they only cared about destroying the country. They only care about destroying what you grew up in. Every good memory that you have, they want to destroy and return us to a point in time that none of them were alive for. These people.
Even if I never thought it was because he was this overly moral person, I thought it was because he was someone that was outside of it, that wouldn't be bossed around and was petty and narcissistic and would go after the enemies that came after him. I was let down in the first term. That's why my first choice for the Republican primary was not him. It was Vivek, who's probably a liar, but nonetheless, at least he was saying things I wanted to hear. And then it was Ron DeSantis.
Oh my God, what a admission. Can someone please, for the love of God, because I don't know how to do it. Please, the timestamp is at 2:03:50. Okay, 2:03:50. Listen to what this slimy, spineless piece of shit just said.
Probably a liar, but nonetheless, at least he was saying things I wanted to hear. And then it was Ron DeSantis.
He doesn't care if people lie to him because at least they're telling him what he wants to hear. That's literally all I need to hear from for this entire panel. This should be played every single time. I'm so serious. Someone please, because I am tech illiterate. I need help with this, okay? I want someone, please, for the love of God, get me this 30 seconds so that I can put it on a soundboard and give it to every single liberal streamer that might ever interact with Rob Noir ever again, so that every single time it's their turn to speak on a panel with him, they can press a soundboard button and hear him say one more time,
and Trump was a third. At least he was saying things I wanted. Primary was not him. It was Vivek, who's probably a liar, but nonetheless, at least he was saying things I wanted to hear. And then it was Ron.
Every single time Rob finishes speaking, some liberal should have a soundboard ready to go, showing that his first choice, he doesn't care if they lie to him. He doesn't care if they're a liar, if they'll get anything done necessary, but he's saying things that make me feel good. And these subhuman pieces of shit have they have the gall to judge me on how I arrive at my positions? How I arrive at who I'm going to vote for? There is no provable lie that any person of any consequence, of any policy that they want to do, there is no lie that they have ever given that when shown to me, I would still vote for them. Actually, you know what? I think that I would have said, I think I would have said that pre this Trump administration. I lied to you guys just now. There is a point where I'm broken for partisanship, and it was the fascist takeover of our government by Donald Trump and the raping of everything that I hold near and dear in this country, whether it has to do with our national forests or our position in the world or our governmental system or our economic system or our relationships with countries. Like, he has raped every single part of this country that was good, and you guys are trying to cheer it on as being like, I don't care, okay? Like,
DeSantis and Trump was a third.
I can't imagine. Like, these are the people that said that Democrats are sheep that will believe any lie. But I guess Rob is just so much smarter. Rob is just so much better because he's not fooled by the lies, but, you know, at least they lie about things that are better. At least this Twinkie, no muscle mass Indian tech billionaire is telling me that he'll kick out enough immigrants that aren't like him. I guess is a good enough pitch for Rob Noir. This scrawny liar is telling me he'll kick out some immigrants. That's enough to sell Rob Noir, guys. Bravo. You principleless, I almost said two things that I almost said the one thing that I know that we just established I can't say, and then I almost bailed into something even worse. Jesus Christ.
I had people.
How was I going to bail from fat into the F slur? We might need to chill. We might need to take a break, folks.
These are facts.
I dedicate this clip to Rob Noir. Let me see.
These are facts, and facts don't care about your feelings.
True. Oh. Hold on. I just need to take a breath, okay? I need to take a breath so I don't have another near miss like that. Whew. Do I have any water left? Oh, that's such a shame. I don't have any water left because I spilled it all under my computer. I'm so sorry, guys. I can't get over that statement. I cannot believe that there is a political commentator out there that is so buck broken by their inability to perceive reality correctly. He is so buck broken by his own conspiracy brain. Past 10 years of his life dedicated to a. He has dedicated the past 10 years of his life to defending a. And he realizes that, and he's brain broken. And he just admitted that he doesn't care about anything. He just wants someone that says something that's so nice to him.
The Republican primary was not him. It was Vivek, who's probably a liar, but nonetheless, at least he was saying things I wanted to hear. And then it was Ron DeSantis, and Trump was a.
I can't get over it, guys. I'm losing it. I'm going to take a break for like 2 seconds. Okay. I admit I'm soy. There's no reason I should be losing it over this, but that guy, dude, for all of the introspection I did, because I thought that he had an insight into the conservative mind, and I come to realize that he's just a fat who thinks that I just want one guy to lie to me good enough and I'll vote for him. I don't care if he's a tech billionaire elite. Like, as long as he lies to be good enough. Oh my God, I can't get over it. Jesus Christ. Listen to the AI song, guys. I'm getting some water. Play. Jesus.
If you liked that song, it's on Spotify and all other streaming platforms. Girly Girl Productions' EP Demure is out now. So what the hell are you doing here? Go stream it now.
Well, if this pauses, maybe I will. There we go. You should do introspection on why you believe Rob had anything valuable to say. I mean, like, hindsight's 2020, but like, listen, I was a young man who was very, very motivated to learn about politics. I thought Rob was someone who was very outside of the paradigm. I just thought that he represented a large section of the population that I was disconnected from, because I don't interact with crazy conservatives on a daily basis like that. But he wasn't so crazy out there that I thought he was out of touch with people. He seemed like a pretty normal dude. And I think he is a pretty normal dude. It's just that pretty normal dudes shouldn't be listened to when it comes to what you should do with your principles, because most of these dudes listen to Joe Rogan for news and information. So he was a smart person. He was confident, and he did give advice or whatever, life lessons in terms of how a person ought to. There were a couple conversations we had that I thought were very good, and I got something out of it. But again, the reason why I'm so mind of the raped right now, why I'm so especially depressed, despite, or like, even though I have a better job and, you know, whatever, is because, like, I genuinely thought that you've heard me say that. I don't need to explain my soy mental break from. I don't need to do that again. You guys know. But yeah, like, it is incredibly embarrassing for Rob to have said that. We'll keep watching it. We'll keep watching it. This is the cope Rob is retweeting. The Wall Street Journal releases an alleged letter from Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein for Epstein's 50th birthday. Notice how they don't provide a photo of the letter so the signature can be analyzed. The writing doesn't sound like Trump at all. And why is this just coming out now? Whole thing screams fake. Okay, good for them. They can say that. Elon Musk is the only response I can see. At Grok, is the letter most likely fake or true? Most likely fake. Oh, Grok. Whoa, really? Why do you think that? Or known handwriting. He uses Sharpie notes. Oh no, but the card was written, the image, the naked woman was drawn with a Sharpie. And it wasn't for a regular note, it was for a special occasion birthday card. I think people are actually getting dumber over the last few years, not just societally. I mean, individually. I blame scrolling social media and LLMs. I mean, I think that that's part of it. I worry that, like, dude. I don't know. I worry that I'm getting stupider, or if like I don't know, or if I'm just like I'm trying to decide whether I have like nickel or lead poisoning from vaping too much, and that's my cope, or if I'm like actually depressed, I need to go and bite the bullet and start paying for someone to talk to, like, because I'm having brain issues, like I'm having severe short-term memory issues, so I'm either like severely depressed, which is what the WebMDs and AIs are telling me, or I have nickel poisoning, which is what I choose to believe, that I made myself, not that I'm so sad that I've become. But I think people are getting dumber. And I think it's because there's no truth. There's no shared truth anymore. I don't have any unique perspective on this. I think a million people have talked about this. The fact that we have a very atomized society right now. We have a society that doesn't have, you know, the common culture to all kind of get around. We don't have, you know, not everyone is watching Seinfeld and waiting for that finale. Everyone isn't watching Game of Thrones together, right? And waiting for the next release of that. We don't have there's a word for it, the uniculture or the whatever it is, like the primary culture, the shared culture that everybody has. But right now we have the dominant culture is the rule of subcultures, and every one of these subcultures is going to get different levels of factual information on the world around us with very little overlap between them, unfortunately. I'm waiting for the next episode of Resident Alien. I've never even heard of it. What the f is that? Does anybody know the term that I'm talking about, though? It's like the uniculture, the omniculture, or something like that. It's the culture that everyone it's the shared culture that everyone deals with. 2021, 4 seasons. I've never heard of the Resident Alien. Oh, okay. Is this a comedy? Because he's goofy looking. It's not Zeitgeist is probably a good synonym for it, but there's a term that I've seen people using a lot more recently, and essentially it's like, you know, in the past, everyone was watching Game of Thrones and everybody listened to approximately the same music. There was like the top 40s and everybody knew the top 40s and the artists in the top 40s. And everybody watched the same couple of TV shows. And there were a lot of TV shows that you could choose from, but everyone was watching, you know, the same like 5 to 6 of them on average, you know. And there was something shared between everyone. And I think that we're seeing the actual effects of what people were worried about with multiculturalism. I don't think that multiculturalism is an issue, because even in multiculturalism, you still have the one culture that you're all, you know, like multiculturalism outside of the internet age. Everyone was still watching Seinfeld. Everyone was still engaging with the same, you know, dominant culture, right? But they had subcultures and stuff. And so like we had something that unified us all. But right now we have, name a show that everybody's watching. I can't. I can name shows that a lot of people are watching, but I can't name a show that like everyone has to. Like the last time that there was something similar was like Barbie and what the f is his name? Holy shit. I said Barbie. Oppenheimer. Like that was like the closest thing that we've had since I was in high school, which is crazy. I don't remember how we got into this topic. How did we get onto this topic? The social media and LLMs. Oh yeah, the fracturing of information that everyone gets. So like I like, for me, I know that I am right now in an echo chamber. I know that I am because I was going to get myself banned off of every platform if I didn't block or remove people from my view. I was going to say some shit. I was going to say some really up shit. So I know I'm in an echo chamber, but I think that the ease in which you can put yourself into an echo chamber, because I did choose to put myself into an echo chamber, but it was very, very easy, right? Like previously I had intentionally followed a bunch of people that I hated, their takes. I hated seeing their tweets, but I wanted, number one, I wanted content. Number two, I wanted to stay in the news, and it didn't bother me as much back then. But if it's so easy to remove yourself from information, I think that that's what most people do. And I think that nobody knows what's going on right now. There's a infinitesimal section of the population that knows what's going on. I say infinitesimal. It's probably like, realistically, it's probably like, I'd put it at the high end, 35 to 40% are reasonably understand the state of everything that's going on right now. And they might agree with what's going on right now or disagree. Most people, if they understand what's going on right now, probably disagree. But they're probably. I think that something really bad is going to have to happen, and I think that something really bad is going to have to happen, and people are going to die, or a lot of money is going to be lost, or something, and then regulations will be put on social media and fundamentally change the face of the internet. I might be doomer, but until the internet gets under control, the political system isn't going to be under control. The information space is, and it's because of the fracturing of all these people, I don't think I'm saying, like, you guys aren't giving me much to go off of here, so I'm going to move on, because I don't have anything unique to say there. Everybody knows that this is a problem. What the one thing that I don't get is why there actually is no movement on it at all. Everybody recognizes that this is a problem. But like literally nobody, I don't know if I can think of a single politician that has talked about putting restrictions on. I couldn't name them. I'm sure that there have been attempts at regulating social media such that, but like it's usually like partisan in nature, such that like, oh, we just think that they're censoring Republicans when they weren't, or, oh, well, I think that they're allowing Nazis. And it's like, I think that Democrats need to be forced to interact with Republicans, and Republicans need to be forced to interact with black people. I'm sorry, not black people. Some of them think that black people are humans. Republicans should be forced to have like one meal a day with an immigrant. And they get a new immigrant every month. And then Democrats should be forced to have a meal with a Southerner. And they'll be both as uncomfortable. Arguably, tech CEOs are addressing the issue by forcing people back into the office. So I actually don't know. Was the vibe shift here in the fracturing of society post-COVID or because of COVID? Because I feel like it was before then that it was already starting, right? No, hell no. To which part? What did I say that was wrong? I ain't eating with no Southern. But it's like, honestly, I don't think that I was about to say something I don't know if I agree with. I was about to say, like, I don't feel like the average Democrat has bloodlust for the average Republican, but I do feel like the average Republican has bloodlust for immigrants. So like maybe I shouldn't like try to both sides it, but I don't know if I would necessarily agree with that on either side. But I do think that there are probably more Republicans that have bloodlust for immigrants than there are Democrats that have a bloodlust for Republicans. Like, I say Republicans, I say we're using Southerners, but like the point still stands. I think that like people like me, like I'm really pissed. I have said that we should throw people into the forest with a hatchet. I obviously don't believe that in reality, right? And I think that where I'm at is more aligned with, I'm probably in line with probably 60 to 70% of Democrats or Democrat voters even. I'm really pissed and I'll say some really aggro shit, but like at the end of the day, I don't mean it. Right? But like, this is the same problem that I have with like comparing Nazis and leftists, right? Like I can compare, I can say that like a Democrat shouldn't do that, but like the other side is always worse with it. Like the Republicans are worse with it because I don't think that an average Democrat would want active suffering like on the average Trump voter. They just want things to like kind of get better. But I do think that the average Republican would want negative things to happen to immigrants, even if it didn't bring us more prosperity. You know? And I keep on, and conservatives will be in chat and they say they don't feel like this, but like, if conservatives don't want to be seen that way, if the conservatives don't want to be seen as the people that I'm talking about, they shouldn't talk like it. Here's a question for you guys. During that, and this is, no, I shouldn't ask this. Never mind. Was it obvious that, now I have to ask, well, it's nothing spicy or anything. Was it obvious in that little tirade that I just gave that I had the short-term memory issue 3 times? Was it, because I tried to make it not obvious. I try to make it not obvious when it happens on stream, but like, it's weird. I just completely, like, my brain just like empties. It's like Thanos snap, and it just like slowly disintegrates into dust, and I'll try and find what I was talking about, and it'll just not be there anymore. And it has happened so often just in the past like 30 minutes that it is starting to worry me. So I might end the stream. I might be just getting so tired that I can't do it anymore. So we'll see. Weird. I might need to see a doctor, guys. Jesus Christ.
But nonetheless, at least he was saying things I wanted to hear, and then it was Ron DeSantis, and Trump was a third. I had people tell me over and over, no, what's different this time about Trump is he has seen the attacks against him. Now he's had 4 years. He knows how deep this corruption goes. So when he gets back in there, you're going to see it's going to be fire and brimstone, and he's going to weed out all of these corrupt people in our institutions. I can't think of a story that is more low-hanging fruit, that discusses the corruption of our institutions more than our government, our intel agencies working together with a person who is trafficking children, the most heinous of crimes to the most powerful of people. When I talk to my neighbors and I talk about government corruption and I start saying shit like this, well, listen, there was this laptop that Hunter Biden had, and these 47 intel officials signed off on. Here's what happened. His father issued this quid pro quo when Poroshenko was president of Ukraine, and there was this prosecutor named Viktor Shokin. Now, Hunter was working with this company called
Oh my God, dude. He's been walked up to the line of self-awareness. He's been walked up to the line of self-awareness. He's almost achieved he is almost fully conscious, folks. He has finally almost got it. Oh my God. He's almost self-aware. We just need to run some more tests and he'll be fully sentient. Oh my God. How do you
well, listen, there was this
he knows he sounds he knows he sounds crazy. He knows that there's way too much information and you have to make way too many jumps in logic. But he's still presenting this as the realistic conspiracy. It's mind-boggling. Guys, I want you to understand, this might be the most embarrassing moment of a like serious political streamer's existence on this platform in this way, you know, because other people have been sex pests. Other people have, you know, been caught in lies or, you know, been embarrassing in DMs to women, prime, you know. But Rob just went from saying, yes, my first choice was the guy that I thought was definitely lying to me, but he was telling me lies that I wanted to hear. So he was my first choice. Then it was Ron DeSantis, but he was a little cringy. So I went with the third option, the guy that might be a... This is what Rob just said. He went from that to... Now when I talk to my neighbors, I can't talk to them about, you know, the blatant corruption with the Biden family because I sound like a going through 5 million layers of abstraction to prove that Biden is, you know, selling funds to China or whatever the his conspiracy theory is. He knows he sounds when he's saying that, but for some reason, he hasn't understood that the reason he sounds is because it is to say this shit. Because he is that guy with the tinfoil on his hat that we made fun of. Did I just knock my water over again? No. What did I knock over? Jesus Christ, my heart just stopped, guys. I really thought I just destroyed my computer. Deep breath. All right. I don't know. Like, imagine being so mind broken. Imagine being so mind broken that you admit that you liked the guy that was lying to you because at least they were lies that you wanted to hear. And then going from that and then saying, I know that I sound when I talk to my neighbors because all the corruption is just so deep. But like, I can talk about the corruption about Epstein little girls and they understand that easy because that's Occam's razor. Occam's razor. The reason that the Epstein files, even I think that there's probably something there that the public might want to see, but probably just doesn't have the right to see, is because there probably is. There probably is old billionaires that were little girls with Epstein. There's probably just not enough evidence to get any of them individually on it. And it would probably harm the victims more to go through with a trial that doesn't end up with a conviction where they have to sit in front of all these people. Yeah, Sonsol's in the Epstein files. That's why I don't want them released, folks. All right. I was there the whole time. All right. Never mind. I don't even want to make, because I have future prospects and I don't want to make jokes like that. You Akata boy. How are you doing? Akata boy, did you see this? Hey, Akata boy, I want to give you something because you told me that you burned the bridge with Rob Noir, I think. So you won't be able to do this, but I have, I'm going to give this to every small streamer that still has, debases themselves to talk to Rob Noir. I want them every single time that he speaks to play this clip. Just a soundboard, okay? Akata boy, are you ready? I need to know that Akana Boy's still in chat because this is so beautiful. Okay. The second, okay. Would make me want to FC myself. Okay. Are you ready? Because this is so good.
His father issued this quid pro quo when Poroshenko.
Oh wait, hold on. It's way further back. Hold on.
Brimstone, liar. My first choice. Enemies that came after him. I was let down in the first term. That's why my first choice for the Republican primary was not him. It was Vivek, who's probably a liar, but nonetheless, at least he was saying things I wanted to hear. And then it was Ron DeSantis, and Trump was a third.
Akana Boy, we now have on record Rob Noir saying, I don't care if the people that I want to vote for lie to me. I just want them to tell me what I want to hear. Vivek was his first choice because despite being a liar, at least he told him what he wanted to hear. Thank you, Rob Noir. Thank you, Rob Noir, for putting that on the record. You spineless, tiny-dicked, no principle having piece of shit, gormless loser.
I had people tell me over and over, no, what's different this time about Trump is
Listen to this,
he has
dude.
seen the attacks against him. Now he's had 4 years. He knows how deep this corruption goes. So when he gets back in there, you're going to see it's going to be fire and brimstone, and he's going to weed out all of these corrupt people in our institutions. I can't think of a story that is more low-hanging fruit that discusses the corruption of our institutions more than our government, our intel agencies working together with a person who is trafficking children, the most heinous of crimes to the most powerful of people. When I talk to my neighbors and I talk about government corruption and I start saying shit like this, well, listen, there was this laptop that Hunter Biden had, and these 47 intel officials signed off on it. Here's what happened. His father issued this quid pro quo when Poroshenko was president of Ukraine, and there was this prosecutor named Viktor Shokin. Now, Hunter was working with this company called Burisma, and this dude Zolchevsky was considered to be, they're like, yeah, whatever, dude, I got work tomorrow. What the fuck are you talking about? And I sound like an unhinged.
He's almost achieved self-awareness, folks. He's almost achieved self-awareness. We're almost there.
Lunatic, which I basically am. But when I say, hey, you hear about that Epstein guy that was molesting children and trafficking to a bunch of powerful people, they're like, oh, yeah, we understand that. That's simple to understand. Was our government connected to that? Now, it could be that it's all bullshit. I disagree. It could be. But then I think Jeb Tan's right. We had Dan Bongino with the podcast at the top of Rumble that was making his living talking about Epstein at least 3 times a week.
You people, you have no right to be mad. You piece of shit. You have fostered this. You have been part of it the entire time. You have no right to be mad now that it's blown up in your face. You disgusting cretin. I am so glad that his worldview is crumbling in front of him. Good God, maybe he'll just kill. I do need to take a break, guys. I'm not going to make it through this. I'm not going to make it through this segment, dude. No, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. I'm actually having such a good time right now. His worldview is crumbling in front of him. His entire life for the past 10 years defending the president, defending the guy that has been lying, admitting openly now that he is such a cuckold with no values whatsoever, that he would vote for the tech billionaire elite, the very class of group of people that he supposedly hates. He wanted that guy because he told him lies that he wanted to hear. He just said it. Okay. Then he goes through his entire Viktor Shokin bullshit crybaby conspiracy theory. And then he says, yeah, I know I sound like a crazy person to my neighbors, which the fact that he admits that he goes up to his neighbors and talks about Viktor Shokin's, yeah, they're probably sitting there and saying, Rob, that's crazy. Well, I'm putting them in the South. He's from Pennsylvania, right? I don't know how they talk. All right.
Now they're going to tell us, trust us, bro. Just Dan Bongino from 2023.
How have you made your money, you piece of shit? How have you been making money on this website, you disgusting slob? You explain to me how you've made the money off of your platform by
saying the exact same things that they've been saying, you dumb. You've been repeating the same lies that they've been saying. You recognize that they're lying. You've said that you recognize that they're lying to you, and you're repeating the lies, and now you're saying that the lies are blowing up in y'all's face, and you want to cry about it, you piece of shit? You want to cry about Dan Bongino making money off of the Epstein lies? You liked him until 2 weeks ago. You dumb. Because you are part of him. You are the same thing as him. You are Dan Bongino, but less successful, less thin, less success, like no money. You are the worst version of the people that got into the White House. They at least got success out of it. You did it, and you didn't even make enough money to warrant selling your soul. Jesus Christ. And he recognizes it. And the question I have is, did he know it the entire time? Because I feel like he did. Because I feel like Rob is not a actually. I think that no. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. My father admitted today that Trump is destroying our economy. 3 weeks ago, he was denying this. I think Epstein shit is actually shaking MAGA loose. It's wild. But like, and this is, fuck, I said this to someone. It must have been my girlfriend because I don't know anyone in DC. But at least I don't know anyone in DC that I would talk about politics with. But this is a foundation myth. This is their entire mythology and what it's built upon. The elites versus the people. That's populism. What are the elites doing? They're shipping our jobs away. They're bringing in immigrants, and they're little girls. All right. Now we're going to elect people who are going to kick out the immigrants. They're going to bring back manufacturing jobs, and they're going to reveal the deep state of all these horrible child trafficking. It's a foundation myth, and it only got supercharged because during Trump's first presidency, they indicted Epstein. They charged Epstein, and he killed himself in prison. And that supercharged the conspiracies. And MAGA, for their part, used it very effectively by, somehow removing Trump from the equation entirely, even though they were best friends for 10 years. Somehow these fat don't understand that this has been open information for years. But I digress. I'll take a breath. Got supercharged in 2019. They played into it and played into it and played into it and played into it. And they accused and they accused and they made a bigger and bigger deal out of it. About all of these things, by the way, not just the Epstein thing, but all of it. But the Epstein thing got supercharged because it happened under Trump's watch and the MAGA movement was growing and blah, 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 blah. And now they want to cry when their conspiracy theories aren't real? You already admitted that they were lying to you, Rob. Do you just not believe in anything? Do you not believe in anything? You know what? I actually need a second, because I don't understand. What the do they believe? They just hate the government and they want to do anything that they can to get rid of the government? And they're mad that the person that had the best chance of getting rid of the government because he was actually doing that illegally is a child? That's the only problem that they have? Not that he's doing all the other horrible things. Not that he lied to them and is like going to ruin their children's ability to have a good, decent life in an economy that works for them. No, they want their children to be wage slaves in a warehouse, manufacturing plant while they're president little girls. And that's the world that they want to live in. Little lies to keep us happy. That's what Rob wants.
Saying Dan Bongino from 2025 is a piece of shit that's covering up for these abuses. That's where we're at. And they're going to piss on our leg and tell us why the are you still concerned about this? Now, I believe Bongino's probably just listening to the boss. Nonetheless, if he has any integrity,
Wait, what did he just say?
Bongino
Who's
from Toro just Dan Bongino at least 3 times a week. Now they're
Oh, hold on. I also wanted to say, I wanted to tack on to the end of that for in regards to your father admitting, like, I think that this is going to shake a lot of people, like, because it is that foundational myth, right? And so this is the part of the conversation that I'm super. It was so revealing. No, if you want to link that to me, please do. But like, what was I going to say? Oh, this is the part of the conversation with like the stuff that we talked about earlier with erudite and stuff, that I didn't really get into. But like, I do think that we should massively shame the out of people writ large for supporting, the rape, kill, and maim approach to deportations. High non-race realists. Uh-oh. That's a scary way to open up there, Robert Reynolds. It is sad that this is what making. Oh my God, I can't speak. It's sad that this is what is making people wake up. It's ridiculous. Yeah, but like, this is how I feel about the way that we ought to go about trying to change people's minds. I think we should be brutal as to these disgusting freaks, especially the ones that have shows online and have been lying and are now admitting that they knew that the people that they were getting their information from were lying to them, and they were just spreading it. Like, you lying piece of shit, you knew that you were putting out bullshit, and you're sorry. But we should be ruthless to these people, and we should be ruthless in concept. We should be ruthless to the concept of supporting this type of deportations. But if there's someone, dude, if there's someone who is on their way out, if there's someone that's on their way out, or they're starting to question the Trump stuff, don't be mean to them about it, Use your best judgment. Be a human being. But like, I don't think that my position there, or like anything that I said there, is at all unique or brand new or anything. 1 second. I didn't even read a goddamn word that he said. I just don't need to read it. What was I in the middle of saying? Making people wake up. Oh yeah, we should be kind to people on an individual basis, right? Like, I was supposed to have a conversation with that Tally girl. I'm pretty sure it's never going to happen. Both because I'm a terrible planner, and I'm pretty sure that I just asked too late. This conversation's over now. But like, I'd probably get angry during the conversation, but I'm probably not going to be like Erudite had it right in some ways, that the reason people were mad at Soy Pill is because he was being condescending to Tally. I'm not an extremist. Soy Pill is more extreme than me, probably, in policy and in language. But I took my Wendy base, dude. Like, and see, that's, and I'm fine with that. I make the caveat all the time. Like, yeah, right now, like, I'm going to say some crazy shit on stream, but like, I'm a reasonable person. I think that like most people would agree with the tacts that I am advocating for. I don't think that what I'm saying is extreme in any way, shape, or form outside of my anger towards these subhuman freaks that I've talked to for the past 5 years. We need to finish. We need to watch the thing. There's probably a gold mine in here. Okay. But yeah, be kind to individuals, right? If someone's on their way out of it, don't sit there and be smug and as shit about it. Just, yeah, take the win, like sourcing. I just don't think that that's useful, but I do think it's useful to not allow anything happening right now to be normalized. And that's every step of the way along this administration. The deploying of the military in LA, I don't want that to be normalized. The, deportations to South Sudan, I don't want that to be normalized, That's we need to fight against that as a society. But on individual levels, be kind. Let them get out of it. The true believers need to rejoin society. I truly believe that. I don't want them to suffer unless they choose to be horrible people. I am starting to come to the understanding that Rob chooses to be a horrible person, and that he was, I think that he saw me as a form of controlled opposition when he was like, when we had those conversations about principles and, what conservatives believe. I think he was turning me into controlled opposition. He wanted me to do the Democrat thing of unilateral disarmament and just be passive while Republicans rape, kill, and torture the entire country. And you know what? Now I can see that he's just a liar. And a crashing out liar at that. How's it going? DISL automatic. By parties sin? I don't know what that means.
I think Jeb Tan's right. We had Dan Bongino with the podcast at the top of Rumble that was making his living talking about Epstein at least.
Oh, let's go back a little bit.
Trafficking to a bunch of powerful people. They're like, oh, yeah, we understand that. That's simple to understand. Was our government connected to that? Now, it could be that it's all bullshit. I disagree. It could be. But then I think Jeb Tan's right. We had Dan Bongino with the podcast at the top of Rumble that was making his living talking about Epstein at least 3 times a week. Now they're going to tell us trust.
Just curious. What is his Twitch name? That's his Twitch name. Is he... Why is Chud Logic... Why does Wix show up before... 1 second. Okay. I'm always worried that those, like, checking that you're human things will show your IP address. I don't know why it ever would, but Rob Nowhere. There we go. Does Twitch Tracker show you subs? It does. Oh, I can't see. Damn, I would just be so curious to know how many active subs that he has, Like, that would be super interesting, in my opinion. If he's so mad about Dan Bongino profiting off of lies to the MAGA Volk. By parties sin. Bipartisan, it sounds like when you say it. Oh, okay. I might look at that then. Or, you know what? Join the Discord and link it in the content suggestion so I remember, because I'm not doing it right now, because I will lose what I'm talking about. I think Cornel West had some words about this, giving people the space to grow or something. I don't recall the phrasing. Man, Cornel West was one of those people that I really respected until until he made that 2024 presidential run. Oh my God, did I lose a lot of respect for some of the after he said some of the things that he said during the 2024 election. Okay, listen, brother, if you want us to listen to like your music, if you're trying to advertise music, you can do that. Do it in the Discord, okay? Not while I'm streaming. I don't care. Like, I'm fine with promoting small artists or whatever. Join the Discord, put it there. I'll play your music when on my opening stream if you want me to. All right, shoot me a DM. All right, I just don't want to have to deal with spam advertisements in my chat. That's annoying as and it's really bad form. All right, just so you know. That's Rob Noir. Oh, wait, Nair. I don't know how long you've been here. Have you been here? Yeah, you know what? I was a little bit too nice to that guy that just advertised in my chat. Why the f was I nice about that? Anyways, I like West generally, but he's a bit extreme for my current politics. Maybe I've changed and he didn't. But like he was on Joe Rogan. This was something I watched before I knew who Joe Rogan was. I watched Cornel West on Joe Rogan, and my God, the way that he spoke to me. I loved it. It was unironically inspiring. He reminds me of my uncle, who passed away. Just understands where people are and how to be empathetic, but then he had to run for office and say a bunch of crazy shit. Nair. I'm so sorry, folks. I know that we've watched this now like 5 times, but I will never get over this. I will never get over this admission on stream. Nair, are you here? Are you still here? I didn't get paid for this promotion, I guess. What things did he say that made you lose respect for him? Which person? Because I've talked about a lot of people I've lost respect for this stream. Okay. Still here? Got you. Oh, Cornel West. Oh, he did some. He said some like he had some really bad foreign policy takes about Russia and Ukraine, and I think that's something that I saw him do, and I think there was something else that was like super cringy, and it was just like it was the final straw in like the moment that we were in for him to do that, you know. Anyways. Is this the Epstein convo? This is the Epstein convo. Are you ready for the most insane Rob Noir admission of all time? And then we'll skip back up, okay? It's just so funny.
Primary was not him. It was Vivek Sistic and would go after the enemies that came after him. I was let down in the first term. That's why my first choice for the Republican primary was not him. It was Vivek, who's probably a liar, but nonetheless, at least he was saying things I wanted to hear. And then it was Ron.
Vivek was my first choice. He might be a liar, but at least he was telling me things that I wanted to hear. Okay. I just had to get rid of the person that was like you're also I can't tell if you're a bot or not because you're talking about your ad still. So I banned you. Anyways, so Trump 2.0, but yeah, like he's admitting that he doesn't care about anything. He doesn't care about anything. He's a no principle political hack. One more time. I just got to hear it again. I just love hearing him admit it out loud on his own live. And the reason why it's so good is because he's pissed as hell and he's not thinking about what he's saying. And so he's being brutally honest about what he thinks. For probably the first time in a long time, he's not towing the party line and he's just saying what he thinks. And he's admitting that he doesn't care. He doesn't care. But I don't think he deserves it. Sourcing. Absolutely. I said earlier that I think I'm like losing IQ points either through nickel poisoning or through depression. I am not that. I think I understand what he's trying to say, but I think that he is Freudian slipping. I think that this is he knows because he then goes on immediately. Nair, you got to watch this. He goes from that funny ass admission to then saying, I know I sound like a when I tell my neighbors about the conspiracy theories I talk about on stream. He is almost self-aware enough to not be a conspiracy theorist. He's almost self-aware enough. Listen to like 30 seconds of this unbroken, okay?
Narcissistic and would go after the enemies that came after him. I was let down in the first term. That's why my first choice for the Republican primary was not him. It was Vivek, who's probably a liar, but nonetheless, at least he was saying things I wanted to hear. And then it was Ron DeSantis and Trump was a third. I had people tell me over and over, no, what's different this time about Trump is he has seen the attacks against him. Now he's had 4 years. He knows how deep this corruption goes. So when he gets back in there, you're going to see it's going to be fire and brimstone, and he's going to weed out all of these corrupt people in our institutions. I can't think of a story that is more low-hanging fruit that discusses the corruption of our institutions more than our government, our intel agencies working together with a person who is trafficking children, the most heinous of crimes to the most powerful of people. When I talk to my neighbors and I talk about government corruption and I start saying shit like this.
Listen,
there was this laptop that Hunter Biden had and these 47 intel officials signed off on. Here's what happened. His father issued this quid pro quo when Poroshenko was president of Ukraine and there was this prosecutor named Viktor Shokin. Now, Hunter was working with this company called Burisma and this dude Zolchevsky was considered to be, they're like, yeah, whatever, dude, I got work tomorrow. What the fuck are you talking about? And I sound like an unhinged lunatic, which I basically am. But when I say, hey, you hear about that Jeff Epstein guy that was molesting children and trafficking to a bunch of powerful people, they're like, oh, yeah, we understand that. That's simple to understand. Was our government connected to that? Now, it could be that it's all bullshit. I disagree. It could be.
He's a lying political hack that doesn't believe in anything. Me. Okay, let's go back to where we were. Okay.
would be saying Dan Bongino from 2025 is a piece of shit 3 times a week. Now they're going to tell us, trust us, bro. Dan Bongino from 2023 would be saying Dan Bongino from 2025 is a piece of shit that's covering up for these abuses.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Yeah. And why aren't you saying the same thing? Are you saying the same thing? Where are you at, Rob? Is Trump or did they... Wait, is he just mad about how they handled it, or does he ever like give a positive claim? Like, I think that they are lying now, or I think that they were lying then. Does he say or is he just going to not? He's going to let his position on whether or not Trump is be like a Schrodinger's cat in a superposition. Pam Bondi said they have tens of thousands of videos of evidence. The list is on the FBI's desk. Now is all made up by Obama and Clinton. Yeah, Nair, I said this at the beginning of stream, but I wrote a Substack. I was going to release it today, but then the Wall Street Journal put out their thing, and now I have to add to it. But I should release it by the end of day tomorrow. And I don't know when they were lying, but my thing is, I think they're lying now. I think that they were lying. They've been lying since they got into office. I think that they're having to tell the truth now. I think that they have been lying. I think that there was nothing that they could do with the Epstein files, right? There might be tens of thousands of videos, but I don't think that they have enough evidence to convict anyone individually. And I think that the strongest cases they had weren't a lock, and it would just be too much of a risk to let them go free after putting all of this out there, having victims go up on the stand, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that that's probably the most likely situation. And I think that they built it up, and then they got in power, and now they're the dog that caught the school bus. And they don't know what to do. They're in charge. It's January 20th, 2025, and they have to start working on this Epstein stuff, but they can't do anything with this. So they, say, oh, we're gonna give out the Epstein files, and it's nothing because they gave it out. It was a PR stunt to the DC Drano cuckold, right? Who is now currently saying there's nothing to see here. And then they keep on. They're like building it up more because they're like, okay, we'll figure this out, right? But then Elon had to step into the fray and say Trump is in the Epstein files. Well, now interest is peaked. It's not just that they've been, milking for votes for the past 10 years. It's not just the that are interested in this story now. It's everyone. Because people thought Trump might be in the files, but there was never any evidence for it. But now someone very close to Trump is saying that he's in the files. Now everyone's interested. Now people are asking questions. Why aren't we getting these files? So they have to kill it because they know they got nothing. Epstein's get the ESPYs? No, I didn't. Link it. So they have to kill it because they got nothing. They can't do anything with this information. It's not information that they can give out, and it's not information that they can do anything with. So they're that's what I think happened personally. I think that there are people that should go to jail for things that they did, but I think that the Justice Department probably just doesn't have the evidence that people think that they have on any one individual. There's probably enough evidence there to put Epstein away for 450 lifetimes. But anybody else might be a crapshoot on an individual basis, So that's my take. And these guys could have had that take. They could have taken the reasonable position. They could have, thought, used, I don't know, a picogram of their mental intellect to think, oh, maybe, you know what? Maybe there's a rational explanation for this. Okay, we'll click on this.
Actually, there was supposed to be an Epstein joke here, but as it got deleted. Must have probably deleted itself, right? Probably never existed, actually. Let's move on as a country and ignore that.
I did see that. I thought you were talking about something else. I didn't know that was the ESPYs. I did see that. Trump was publicly friendly with Epstein, and Trump is known to like young women and prostitutes. It would be weird if he wasn't in the files, but I don't trust that Musk knows this. Well, sure, I don't think that they would have given Musk access to the Epstein files, right? I think that that's just the catalyst that set this whole thing in motion. Unless we get a date on when, if anybody knows this, please let me know. Is there a date for when the Wall Street Journal reached out to the Trump to the Trump administration for comment on this story? Because if it happened before they said there's nothing to see here, very, very interesting. If it happened afterwards, then okay, you know.
And they're going to piss on our leg and tell us, why the are you still concerned about this? Now, I believe Bongino's probably just...
They're not just pissing on your leg, Rob. You have been drenched with urine for years, and you have just been so high off of the ammonia fumes, you haven't been able to recognize it. You have been pissed on by these people the entire time, and you were smiling throughout all of it. You are the that they're sitting and drinking champagne, laughing about these voted for us. You are that, Rob. You did this. Congratulations. You are the rube that you accused all of the Democrats of being. You are the... Now, the difference between someone like me and someone like you is when my people get elected, they don't have to go and do the evil villain champagne flute, clink it together. Oh, these voted for us. Huh? We're about to get so rich because Democrats increase taxes. They increase taxes on the rich, you know? So like, what excuse do you have? You poor freak, you poor Pennsylvania rural, probably know 18 people that died of fentanyl overdoses, but you're still too to recognize that everything that you vote for has led to those deaths. Everything that you want in the world has led to those deaths. These people, dude. I don't know. Like, everything that they want in this world has led to the world that they are currently living. Everything is bad right now because of what they wanted to happen. And they don't have the self-awareness. They don't have the courage to speak up about it when they're the ones that said that they were the truth speakers. I don't know, dude. It's like I'm like a metronome. On this side, I'm having an absolute blast watching Rob, you know, his greasy folds slurp out words to cope about the fact that his daddy has ruined his worldview. So like that side I'm getting. On the other side, it's like these people have a voice. And these are the low-level voices in the Republican Party. These are low-level, and they just repeat with the upper level. Like, this is the Republican Party top to bottom. I don't know, dude. These people, like, I don't know whether they're, I'm trying to understand also in real time what they want. What the do you want, Rob? Do you want a functioning country, or do you want someone to destroy the whole thing? Do you want someone to, do you want honest politicians, or do you want Vivek, the liar? What do you want, Rob?
Listening to the boss. Nonetheless, if he has any integrity, resign.
If you had any integrity, you would have. I almost said it again, guys. I need to stop. But honestly, like, if you had any integrity, you would not be on this stream having to cope about the fact that you defended these guys. You wouldn't be in the position you are right now if you didn't willingly attach yourself to people that you knew were lying to you. You get upset when someone says they're black from the waist down? Where does that even come from? Oh, it's just another weird troll account. Okay, I just need to learn to only respond to people that are actual people in chat.
It's a piece of shit that's covering up for these.
Like, again, you have the gall to talk about integrity, you stupid piece of shit? What the is wrong with you? Look at yourself in a mirror.
Now they're going to tell us, trust us, bro. Dan Bongino from 2023 would be saying Dan Bongino from 2025 is a piece of shit that's covering up for these abuses. That's where we're at. And they're going to piss on our leg and tell us, why the are you still concerned about this? Now, I believe Bongino's probably just listening to the boss. Nonetheless, if he has any integrity,
that's what you've been doing your entire political commentary career. Just listen to the boss. What is the common talking points? Like, I'm trying to think. Is there any Twitch conservative that I think gave a unique view on anything? Like on a topic outside of, like, 'cause I feel like Rob had now I know it's false, but like, I thought that he had an insight on, conservative values and shit like that, or what the Democrats should do. Now, I just
resign. That's what you should do, or explain how wrong you were and apologize to people for
you are that person, Rob. You are that person. You're that guy. You're that embarrassing loser who sat there and defended the rich elite people, defended their every action, and now you have the gall to talk about principles and whether you have integrity. You have no integrity. You said you would vote for someone that gave you a nice sentence,
leading them to this conclusion that ended up not being true, right? It's one or the other. So that's where I'm standing on this. This is the biggest representation. I'm not here to talk about, Donald Trump was this moral guy. I gave it less than a 5% chance that Trump would do anything this term to drain the swamp. But now it's been made official 6 months in, been made official with a nice big rubber stamp for Trump. And that leads me to criticism too. No matter what you think about this, they could right this ship tomorrow. In fact, as we're speaking, Pam Bondi came out and said she will be tomorrow releasing grand jury shit from the Epstein stuff.
I'm sorry, Rob, are you going to accept grand jury testimony? You're going to accept that's it? You don't need to see the files. You don't need to see the list of names that were on the... You guys were calling for the flight logs. They didn't say that they were going to release grand jury evidence. They said they were going to release grand jury testimony. That's enough for you? That's not everything. He will be satisfied with that because he wants to move on from this. They all want to move on from this, especially Gibbs, who hasn't said a goddamn word.
Let's say that they do it and it rights the ship.
I guess none of them have. Okay, I'm being mean to Gibbs, but like, why would you say I just want to move past this? Like, you freaks have been beating the drums on this shit for so long. You have no right to say I don't want to talk about it. You.
And people are like, Donald Trump treated us like he treated us.
You've been, oh my God, he knows. He finally understands it. You have been made you have been made the entire time that you supported him. They are rich elites, and you've been saying that you want to go against the rich elites, and then you sit there and you all day for these people. You wanted to vote for Vivek, the tech billionaire. What is wrong with you? How are you just now realizing that you are how do you not realize? we're back on this side of the metronome. I'm having a great time. These people are actually, they don't know what they want.
He said, "You still worried about this shit?"
You've known that you've been a. It's just that this is the most public that you've been made to be a. You dumb. You hate the fact that you're being proven to be a.
What? You're panicans. You're weaklings. You're just like Democrats. I don't want your support. You're past supporters. Then you. That's my answer to Donald Trump. You're going to tell people there are people that went to prison for this guy on January 6th. There are people that.
Oh, but some of those were too, and he pardoned them. Doesn't that absolve him of the sin of tricking all of you MAGA people into assaulting the Capitol? Like, that doesn't make up for that sin? I mean, you guys elected the. You didn't want him to pardon the. What's wrong with you?
They've had the shit beat out of them for wearing MAGA hats. There are people that have lost their jobs. There are people that lost their careers on social media. And you're going to look at those people that were your biggest supporters that stuck with you for everything.
Oh, here comes the voice cracks.
Shit. And all of a sudden, he's going to be Mr. Lindsey Graham, and your priority. Not only, it would be different if he said, "Look, there's just no there. I'm sorry."
Oh, no, he calmed down.
We'll do our best, but I'm sorry, there's no there. That would be one thing. But to say, why the are you still talking about this? And I know why he's doing it, because we see this Wall Street Journal story, if you guys didn't see it. Draws really shitty stick pictures of women naked, and signed his name to a Jeffrey Epstein birthday card in 2003. Looks like bull.
And said that they have a dirty little secret that they have between each other, and and he knows they're both enigmas, and enigmas never die.
Bullshit to me, but if this is the story, like, this is a joke that this is why Trump attacked his base.
But you're the that voted for him, despite knowing that this is who he is. You're a, and you know that you're a. God, that's all we had to do. We just had to prove to them that they were for voting for Trump. No, we have been showing them that they had to feel like a. I'm glad that he feels like a. I hope that my comment. That I know that I'll never talk to Rob again because of this Twitter comment, but I said that I hope that the diabetes takes him before his son gets to grow up to see him be such a weak, spineless piece of shit of a man that supported such horrible shit. And you know what? Now Rob gets to see in real time, just a couple of weeks later, that is exactly what's going to happen. Because he supported President. Because they said you to their constituents, because they never cared about the constituents in the first place. And despite knowing that, Rob voted for them because he hates immigrants and trans people and liberals and the woke mob, these broad concepts that have never actually directly harmed him ever. He has formed his entire worldview around hating them. And now he's in a position where he has a toddler son who gets to grow up knowing that his dad was a massive cum guzzling for elite. That's what Rob gets to pass down to his son, his legacy to him. And he knows it. That's why he's mad on this panel. And if he sees this clip of me saying this, he will know that I'm right. That his son gets to grow up knowing that his dad had a YouTube channel where he made money off of lying to people so that President could get in charge, only to kill the story that would have implicated him. And that's at least their perception. Now he gets to grow up with his son looking at him like a fat loser that wasn't able to do anything with his degree, so he had to work in a medical support role. Couldn't do anything with his degree. So now he's a fat loser in the middle of nowhere.
Because he was worried about this. I think that Jeb Tan's right that there's going to be Trump's name more through this. It might be total bullshit, or it might be somewhat true. Like, it might say, actually, Trump was at some more parties. Maybe not Epstein Island, maybe Epstein Island, but maybe he was at another property, a hotel with Epstein once, or this or that. Or maybe it's just.
I mean, the thing is, there's probably something in there that makes him look bad. I honestly, to be honest, I don't think that Trump diddled kids. I don't. It might have happened. Is more likely than not that he's probably had sex with someone that's underage because he's a billionaire and he probably didn't check. I don't think that he was part of like the ring. I feel like there would have been stuff that came out about that already. All right. But there's probably some stuff in there that makes him look a little bit bad and they don't want that to come out. So I don't know, dudes. Like, I'm sorry. I know I need to chill out. I was being a bit aggressive, but like these people, dude, these people are so insufferably, they were so smug about all of the shit that, like, all of the bad shit that the Democrats did. And then they look at everything going on right now. And then this is the final straw. This is the final straw. I guess it is because they just never wanted to feel like, that's why, oh my God, dude, that's what it is. They felt like because they couldn't get good jobs. They felt like because all of the jobs went overseas. They felt like, so they voted for the guy that made them feel like not a, but now that he is treating them like, now that he's openly treating them like a, they just didn't want to feel like a, they knew that they were. This is Rob Noir coming to the realization that he knew that he was a the entire time, but now he's just being exposed as a. Oh my God. It's also bad if he was there at all. Yeah. Like, I don't like, also, I feel like this might be a Destiny take. I don't think that I came up with this on my own, but I think that the amount of people that would look at like a very young person, like a actual child, and want to, or like go through with having sex with them is probably an extremely rare person. So that's it. It's hard to imagine someone being attracted to a child. So I think it's probably a very rare thing. Now, younger than we would deem acceptable. Now, that I think is more likely than not. But do I think it's tied to Epstein? I don't even think that would be tied to Epstein. I just think that he's probably a billionaire playboy that anyone that he could.
It's as simple as some woman saying, I was at the island.
Let me go back.
It might be total bullshit, or it might be somewhat true. Like, it might say, actually, Trump was at some more parties. Maybe not Epstein, maybe Epstein Island, but maybe he was at another property, a hotel with Epstein once, or this or that. Or maybe it's just as simple as some woman saying, I was at the island and Bill Cosby and Tupac and Elvis and Trump molested me. And it's bullshit, but Trump's like, I don't want smeared with this shit again. I don't want to have to deal with it. And that's the problem. Like, no one wants to talk about this, particularly with the Diddy trial that just came up. But not everyone that hung out with these people did that shit. And you have to be...
You people have been going unbelievably hard on every single person that you could politically get points out of that had any even marginal connection to Epstein. And then you wanted us all to ignore the fact that there's video clips of Epstein and Trump like patting each other on the back and laughing and joking around, of audio clips of Epstein getting interviewed saying, yeah, me and Donald Trump were best friends for 10 years. Like, you slimy slug of a human being, you spineless piece of shit. You.
Reasonable when it comes to grand jury testimony and grand jury investigation.
Yeah, Trump is absolutely a predator, but I don't think he's into children. Yeah, like, again, I feel like it's such a rare thing. Like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just have. Maybe this is another example of my naivety of the human condition. Since I thought so, not highly, but at least moderately of conservative human beings. But now I don't. But maybe there are way more people out there that would be willing to have sex with a child. I don't know. I can't imagine it. It feels like it has to be less than 1% of the population, And I don't think, and then you like select not only for such a small number of the population, but then billionaires, like the number of those people, and then them being best friends, like, yeah, like it's just like the cosmic odds of it. But it's not impossible. It's not impossible, but it's probably just a bunch of shit that makes him look really bad. And he's